What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Vercitorix gaming channel. Today we're going to be looking at building a truck that will do tons of miles, do it really quickly, accelerates fast. It's built for light loads. It's basically a VTC mile hog. It's there to put a light load on it, do a vast amount of miles, and it'll just keep accelerating through and do it as quickly as it can. So when you're trying to look at doing long distance driving, you've got to take into account a few things. What weight are you going to be carrying? Now, if you're looking to put as many miles onto your VTC as quickly as possible, you're going to want light loads and you want as fast acceleration as possible. Those are the two things that you want. Light load, fast acceleration. So we're talking 3 tons, 4 tons, 5 tons at the max. And we want as quick acceleration as we can get. So, in terms of the chassis, we're going to go with a 4x2. This is Sigrid. Sigrid is my Scania, my 730 Scania, sorry. And she does all my normal cargo. She does all my normal, my BTC mileage driving, so to speak. She will do every bit of mileage I put on the BTC, basically. She is superb. Like, the acceleration on her is perfect. She does what I need her to do. She gets up the hills, even though it says the hill traversability isn't great. She'll smash up those hills if she's in a high enough rev range. So I always go with a 4x2. You could go with a 6x2, but the 4x2 will give you a good maneuverability. It'll allow you to keep that acceleration going quickly. Yeah, and it's a lot lighter. Lighter truck, faster acceleration. And we're trying to keep things as light as possible. So we want the light truck and we want light load. Now, the Scania isn't the lightest chassis in the game. I think that's the DAF off the top of my head. I think a DAF, one of the DAFs or one of the Ivecos, had a really light chassis. But they don't have the engine power. I think you could probably get away with it with a Renault. You could probably have the highest Renault engine, which I think is around 600, 630. And then obviously slam the gearbox that I'm going to show you into it, a gearbox similar to the one I'm going to show you into it, and it should even out ever so slightly. But if you're unsure about that Scania 730 engine with this gearbox or the Volvo 750 engine with this gearbox, both of those will do the exact same thing, will be really quick. So we're going for the 4x2 chassis. The engine, you're going to want your big power boy. You're going to want your 730, you're going to want your 750. If you can't afford it, you can get away with a 650, but you want the big power engine. You want the one that's basically built to do the heavy cargo runs. That's what you want, because it's going to give you that acceleration. It's going to make it nice and quick. It's got that power there for the acceleration. And then the gearbox, I've had a look at a few of these, so I had a look at this one. And the problem with this one, I think it's this one. Yeah, the problem with this one, there's no retarder. So when you stick your cruise control on and you go over the speed limit that you're at, it's not going to slow you down, which means you risk race miles. Now, if you're in a VTC, a lot of VTCs don't want race miles, so we don't want that. We want a retarder equipped to it. So the only other gearbox we can have is this one, the GA867R for the Scania. Then Volvo will have one similar, and so will Renault. They should both have one similar. I know the Volvo definitely does. And this is the gearbox you're going to want to use. The 6-speed retarder. It's nice acceleration. It's nice and quick. And the only thing you've got to remember is you have only got 6 gears. So do not put a heavy load on this. A heavy load will not help at all. You will not be able to get up the hills. You will come to a standstill. It is not worth it. You want to keep with really, really, really light loads on this. I'm talking 3 ton, 4 ton, 5 ton. I don't even think you'd go to a 6 ton. But you want that acceleration. You want that power. I mean, some people probably would say 6, 7 tons would be alright. I think you're going to lose some acceleration with it. I don't think it's worth it. I think stick to the 3, 4, 5 tons max and just run the miles. So we're going to go into a little journey now. We're going to do Swansea to Birmingham. It's only a quick journey. We're going to be carrying a 3-ton helicopter. It's going to be really light, but I'm going to show you the acceleration power behind this Scania. and obviously the Volvo and the Renault will do similar things. But yeah, let's get into that now. So as I was saying in the intro, this truck is designed to do really, really, really light loads. Designed to be really light on the load, 3, 4, 5 tons max, and it's literally it's for doing really long runs, really light, getting those miles in for your VTC. That's what this truck is designed to do. It's only got 6 gears. It's got the big 730 engine in it. It's designed to be quick on the acceleration, quick on going. And this journey is just a little preview of what it can do basically. Now it's not for everyone. Not everyone's going to like the 6 gears. Hill traversing is a little bit rough with it. It does not like the hills, because it's only got those 6 gears. So you've got to keep in high revs to get up these hills. As you can see, we're already dropping, but we're holding. We're getting up the hill. And because it's a light load, we don't have a problem with towing it. If it was a heavy load, then obviously this vehicle would be no good for that job at all. The 6 gears just aren't any good for that sort of job. But in terms of acceleration, in terms of acceleration on a light load, this vehicle's perfect. It's doing the run. We're already up at 95 kilometers an hour. We're not looking for that top speed that we get with some of the other vehicles. We're not doing race miles. This is purely a VTC heavy runner. It is a Scania 730 engine. You could go for the Volvo. Volvo has a 750 engine, I believe. But if you put the 6 gear gearbox on it, I will get the words out, but if you put the 6 gear gearbox on it, it'll have no problem doing exactly the same thing as what this Scania will do. I reckon you could probably do it in a Renault as well. Not sure what the biggest engine in the Renault is, but I know the Renault is slightly lighter on the chassis, so that sort of negates a little bit between the Scania and the Volvo and the Renault. But ideally, if you're going to do this sort of driving, the long distance, big power, as quick as you can, low, very light, very, very light jobs, then the Scania and the Volvo, big engine, 6 gear speed box, and just go for it, just run the roads. You can see how quick we accelerate up on this vehicle. This job is supposed to be, will probably take me a little bit longer on the 12 gearbox, I'd assume. The acceleration, obviously the need to keep changing gears slows down. With this, you've got the 6 gears, you just straight in, change gear, and you've already got loads of room to play in the next gear. And I was sat in 4th gear for the entire time on that, and we were just accelerated through. You will use a little bit more fuel. Fuel is not great with the 6 gear speed box, especially if you're going up hills and stuff like that. It's just not enjoyable. But we're not here for fuel. We're not here for economy. This truck is built to VTC run miles. It is built to do massive amounts of miles for your VTC. It's the one I use this month. In the last 5 days, I've clocked up 20,000 miles. I don't play the game as religiously as some other people. I play the game for 4, 5, maybe 6 hours every other day. So, and I've clocked up 20,000 in the last 5 days. So this truck does all that for me. It's nice, it's light, Just run the miles, man, run the miles on this. So we're gonna continue the rest of this journey. We've got about 12 minutes of this journey to go. In terms of interior, spec it however you want. I've spec mine however I want. You just spec it how you want on the visual stuff. But in terms of what's in the engine, what's in the gearbox, you've got to go for the lovely 730 engine or the 750 in the Volvo and a 6 gear. I do have a retarder on this gearbox. That's something I forgot to mention. Have the retarder, that way then we're not going over the speed limit that we've enforced on ourselves. I've enforced 95 kilometers an hour. If it goes up to 96, it will kick the retarder in and we'll slow back down. That way then ensuring that I don't accidentally go over the speed limit and cause my VTC to have race miles, because we don't want the VTC having race miles at all. That's not something they want. It's not something I want, and it's the right way of getting myself told off, basically, if I have too many race miles. So for my VTC, they like the real miles, so I stick a retarder on the 6 gear box retard version, and yeah, it does the job for me. So we've got about 10 minutes left of this journey. We're just going to Birmingham from Swansea. It is literally just a little tester run to show you what this vehicle is like running on a journey. You can see obviously it's pulling the helicopter, the 1808TX, I think the helicopter is. Lovely little helicopter. It hasn't got the big blades on it. You can see I'm having no problems pulling this thing. It is only 3 tons, so it works perfectly as I want. If I'm going to use 3 tons all the time, this is the way to do it. We don't want to be pulling any more than about 5 tons, I wouldn't have thought. And like I said, it's a purely VTC runner, purely to stack up miles. So I use the Trucks MP job thing to make jobs for myself. I always make sure I'm carrying a light job, be that the helicopter, be that potted plant. You know what I mean? I think it's harvesting barrels. There's harvesting boxes. There's a few 3-ton weight jobs. I just switch and swap between the load. Fresh herbs, I think, is one of them. Cut herbs, fresh herbs, whatever it's called. So low weight. It just gets your speed. It gets your efficiency, and that's what you're trying to do when you're trying to build up the miles. You don't want something that's gonna struggle because you're having to change gear all the time. You don't want to be having those high weight jobs. Just beep over to this person over here, see if he is beeping back at me. That's all good. Appreciate it. Yeah, you don't, when you're doing VTC runs and you're trying to clock up as many miles as you want, you don't want heavy loads. If you have heavy loads, you're going to struggle to get up the hills. You're going to be a lot slower in your acceleration. It's just not worth doing. If it is purely miles you're after, build something that is built to do miles. Build something for miles. Build something that is quick on the acceleration, good over long distance. And this truck has never let me down. It's done loads of long distance journeys. It's the one I use most of the time, and I won't be swapping it anytime soon. It's in the VTC colours, which I like. But yeah, that's basically the truck. As you can see, I've customised it myself on the outside. It's called Sigrid. Sigrid basically stands for victory in Old Norse language. It's an Old Norse name. It means victory, and I like to think of it as she carries me to victory in the VTC. I like to try and be the #1 driver in the VTC every month, and Sigrid here helps me do that. But I haven't really had a chance to properly show you on a hill, but you saw on the little ramp going up onto the motorway, she had no problems with it. Keep her in high revs, get her foot down, high revs, and off she'll go. She'll go up it, especially with the lightweight. Obviously won't do it with a heavyweight. Don't ever put a heavyweight on this gearbox. It is just not worth at all. You'll really struggle. You may even come to standstill on hills because of it. It just hasn't got the gear ratios to do heavy loads. So don't accidentally do a heavy load with this setup. This setup is purely miles. But yeah, 6 minutes left. Obviously, Like I said before, we're just doing a short little journey. If you're interested in joining a VTC, if you don't have a VTC and you're interested in joining one, there is a link to a Discord in the description down below. That will take you to the Cheltenham 77 Discord. I am part of that Discord. Inside that Discord, you will find details on the VTC and how to apply. We are called Cheltenham Transport. We do convoys. We are a very friendly lot. We're very multinational. There's a few of us. We've got a couple of New Zealanders. There's obviously me and another lad. We're both British. So there's quite a few nationalities. We're all in different time zones. So there's always going to be somebody to play with if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking to convoy with people, there's always going to be somebody about. It's a great little place. It's not too strict. We understand that everyone has lives and not everyone can complete the mileage every month. But at the same time, we have mileage limits for both ETS and for ATS. We're not just an ETS group, but you're not required to do both of them. You're only required to do the one. So if you smash your ETS target, then don't worry about your ATS target. We're not worried about that. We're just on about, we just want to keep it as chill as possible. Enjoy, have some good banter. I've got a video that was released on Sunday, just gone, of our first convoy. It was a really fun thing to do. Lots of banter, lots of enjoyable, it was a massively enjoyable experience. Really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to the next one, which I believe is actually going to be a charity convoy. That's going to be on the 4th of November. Friday the 4th of November. Hopefully that goes ahead. It's going to be an early one if you're British, because it's going to be 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's going to be an early convoy if you're British. If you're obviously from New Zealand, where the person that's organising this charity convoy is from, then obviously it's going to be 6 o'clock at night. So there's a good range of times for people to be in there, and if you're from America and you want to join that, it's going to be 6 o'clock in the evening, the day before for you, so that's going to be Thursday, 6 AM for you guys. If I've calculated that right, I think that's right. But yeah, great little VTC. So if you're definitely up for joining a VTC, the link will be in the description, and obviously there's a little logo above my head somewhere here. It says Cheltenham Transport. But yeah, check it out. Have a look. It might not be for you. It might be for you. You don't know until you have a look. As you can see, I've had no problems accelerating. It has mostly been flat, but I've had no problems accelerating. We're doing the job really quickly. We're stacking those miles on really quickly. We've used barely any fuel, about the amount of fuel I'd expect to use for this sort of journey. And it's just no problem with the accelerating. Look, I've spent more time talking to the camera and looking away from the screen than I have actually playing it. So it gives you a good idea of what the vehicle can do and what the truck is like. So if you want to follow how I built it in the beginning, I recommend doing that. It is definitely worth having to play with. It might not be for you. You might build it and decide, well, I don't really like this. I don't like the 6 gears. I like to have a little bit more flexibility with what I carry. I'd like to go a little bit heavier every now and then. And if that's the case, go for it. Go for it. Like I said, each to their own. And this thing, as you can see, it's just flying up the hill. There is absolutely no problem with this thing going up the hill. It's not dropping its speed. It's not doing nothing. It's just pushing up that hill. And now we're slowly increasing again on the revs. Now, obviously, if I change down a gear into 4th gear, she would shoot up in speed a lot quicker. But I know coming up that we're coming off this motorway in a little minute or two, so I'm not pushing her too hard. I'm not too worried about getting up to the 95km/h speed limit that I normally do. I know some people prefer to go a little bit higher. They prefer a 98km/h speed limit, and that's perfectly fine. If that's what you prefer, then you do that as well. This thing will have no problem coping with it. She'll go round it, no problem. And as you can see, come round and start the acceleration, and you can see we're already flying up a lot quicker than what any 12-speed gearbox would do. And it is purely because we're on flat ground. Even with a little bit of an incline, she's still flying up. Look, she's still having no issues whatsoever. And there we go, into 95 kilometers an hour, into 6th gear, and we just cruise along at this, and that's literally as simple as it is. Apparently we're entering Cambridge, and we're not. We're entering Birmingham. But I think ProMods have got a little bit of a mess there. But as you can see, it just works so well. And it's probably the best truck I've built in terms of doing miles. She's very quick. She does what she gets it done. She gets the job done. Absolutely no issue whatsoever. Nice and easy. Nice and easy round. And straight back on the accelerator. You can see that rev meter going up. Look how quick that rev meter's going up. So like I said, if you want a truck that's going to do massive miles and do it well, go for the Volvo. Big engine, the biggest engine you can get. I think it's a 750. And put the 6-gear speed box on it. Or the other option is, it's given me simple parking this time. Or the other option is get the Scania, get the 730 brake on it, and put the 6-gear speed box on that. And you will have absolutely no idea. Like, you'll have absolutely no problem with these trucks. These trucks will fly these miles for you. And yeah, enjoy it. That's going to be the end of this video anyway. Thank you for watching, and please remember to hit the subscribe button, like the video if you did already, put some comments down. I want to see what your preferred setups are, and I'll see you for the next one, guys. Have a good one.